In today's video, I'll be showing you how to shave a valve cover to give it more of a unique look. Let's get started on the process I use to do that.
You to tell me what to do. I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon, and I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these...
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. So today I'll actually be shaving this valve cover that we painted previously. I did get some damage on it whenever I was removing the engine to paint the engine bay. So I decided this is a perfect opportunity to shave all of this down, and I'll show you the process that I use to do that. First we're going to just remove the valve cover, and then we'll set it up out back and start on the process. Alright, so we're going to remove the 5 bolts that hold the valve cover down to the cylinder head. There is 3 more bolts on top of that. There's one here that holds the ground wire in. It's a 10 millimeter as well. One for this bracket here, which is a 10 millimeter over here that holds the spark plug wire clip. Then we'll take this valve cover and move it to the backyard and get started on the process. At this point, you want to be careful with your firing order. If you don't know it, it's a good time to take pictures or label where they're at. Alright, so I don't know if you watched the video that I put out prior to this one about how I removed the paint, but if you haven't, stop the video, go back and check that video out. Link will be in the description of this one, and then come back to this. But basically I stripped the paint off, and now we're ready to remove the Honda off of the valve cover. Now I'll be using a Harbor Freight Drill Master with a grinder disc. It works perfectly for doing what we're about to do. So basically, make sure you're wearing safety glasses, maybe even a face shield, and some gloves when you're doing this, because it's very dangerous to do this. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Basically, I'm going to knock this down as smooth as possible without digging in, leaving grinder marks, and I'm going to smooth this out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, now that we got the grinding done on the valve cover, I'll be using some 80 grit to kind of knock most of these deeper scratches that the grinder left out, and then we'll use 120 and then 320, lay some primer down, and then we can lay some color. Right, now that we got it pretty smooth using the 80 grit, we're going to go through with the 120, smooth it out a little more, hit it with some 320, and then hit it with some primer. Alright, using some duplicolor grease and wax remover on a clean rag, we're going to go ahead and wipe this down and get it ready for some primer. Alright, at this point it is optional to tape around these areas so that you don't get paint in there, but it's not a big deal. I've never done it and I've never had issues. So I'm going to be using this primer that is 1300 to 2000 degree Fahrenheit primer. Like I said before though, you don't have to use high heat primer. At least I've never had issues with it. Other people might have, but I've never had issues not using a high heat primer. So I'm going to go ahead and prime this thing up, do a couple coats, and then we will get started with the color after. Alright, now that the primer is dry, I let it dry for about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and apply the 2 coats of the gold wheel color. This is high heat technically because it's for wheels, which see a lot of heat from the brakes. I'm going to go ahead and coat this with 2 coats of this, and then we'll put the 2K clear out of the spray gun over it. Alright, now that the first coat is done, I'm going to let that dry for about 5 minutes. It doesn't take very long since it's hot outside, so I'm going to let that dry 5 minutes, hit one more light coat over the whole thing, and then we'll get some clear going. Alright, now that the second coat's done, I'm going to go mix up some Pearl 2K Clear. Now you can use just normal Spray Max 2K Clear in the spray can, which there will be a link in the description where you can get that. You don't have to have a compressor and spray gun to do this. Alright, so I'll be mixing up 2 ounces, so I'll find the 4 to 1 to 1 ratio, which I'll only be going 4 to 1, just the clear and then the reducer. So I will fill this up with the 2K Clear and then mix in the reducer. I'm also going to be adding some Pearl Flake to it that was sent in by a subscriber to my P.O. box. Mix it up very thoroughly. Make sure to filter everything before putting it in the gun using the micro strainers. After that, we can go ahead and start painting. I'll be using this small 8-gallon Harbor Freight compressor along with the cheap Harbor Freight gun with a little water separator. And we'll be shooting this valve cover with the clear. Alright, the first coat is done. It's pretty thick, so I'm going to let it dry for probably about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and hit it with one more. Alright, so here it is. You can kind of see it in the sun here. Has a beautiful pearl tint to it. I just want to give a shout out to Sinformant for sending that. Thank you again for sending the pearl flake. It turned out beautiful in this clear coat. Like I said though, you can use the Spray Max 2K Clear to achieve this shine. You just won't have the pearl in it unless you contact Spray Max, the company, and ask for a pearl clear. But it looks beautiful. We're going to let it fully dry, and we'll put it back on the car and see what it looks like. Alright, it's been about an hour and a half. I put it back on. It looks really nice. Now it does have a little bit of waviness to it, as you can see. If you want that gone, you will have to apply a skim layer of JB Weld, mix it up, put it on there, let it dry, and then sand it smooth. I've done it that way before and it turns out beautiful. But I'm not too worried about it since there will be a sticker or a stencil I'm painting on or putting a sticker there. No, the heat won't be an issue with the sticker. I've actually had it like that before. I'll put a picture right here of what I'm talking about. I was on my high comp all motor D series, and it was perfectly fine. But I might paint it on instead of putting a sticker on. I haven't decided, but you won't really notice it as much once that's on there. But if you don't like the waviness to it, then you can definitely apply a skim coat of JB Weld, sand it smooth, and then you'll be good. It's pretty much like body filler but for metal. So yeah, it looks a lot better, matches the engine bay and the wheels a lot more than it used to. Definitely gives it a more unique look. But I'm only a few things away from having the turbo kit ready to be installed. I am keeping AC. I've already relocated the slim fan to the front. It's hard to see, but it's in there. And there's definitely room for a turbo now. So that's what I plan on doing next, performance-wise. But that'll be on the Texas Honda channel. If you're not subscribed to that channel, please do so. Link will be in the description. That way you can follow the performance aspect of this build. But yeah, it looks 10 times better. That was pretty inexpensive to do. I already had the 2K Clear. The primer costs like $10. The gold cost, I believe, was $7 for the duplicolor gold, and then I already had the clear. But yeah, if you want to use the Spray Max 2K Clear instead of using the spray gun like I did, that'll work just fine. I've never had issues with the Spray Max 2K Clear, and it's pretty much the same stuff. But yeah, there'll be a link in the description for that. But that's basically it for this video. I'm going to try to get interior painting done and door jams real soon because I need to do the door jams. It's just I've been pretty broke and I need some more supplies to do that. I already had the stuff to do the valve cover, so I figured why not just do the valve cover. But that's basically it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, definitely like the video and drop a comment below and let me know what you guys think of the shaved valve cover. So I'll see you guys in the next video, so stay tuned and God bless.
Fight.